If you've been waiting for the perfect time to plant your food forest, don't wait. Now is the time. Fall isn't just a good time to plant a food forest, it's the best time to plant a food forest. And if you delay until spring, you're going to lose an entire season of growth. Today, I'm going to show you exactly why if you plant your food forest now, mid-September into October, you're going to give yourself a massive head start for growth. Also, I'm going to show you what exactly to plant and the mistakes to avoid so you can set yourself up for success. And make sure you stick around to the end because I'm going to give you something special to make sure you don't miss a single one of these steps. In the fall, the soil is still warm, but the weather is cooler, and so that means a lot less stress for these plants that you're planting, which means they can put more energy into putting deep, strong roots into the ground, which means better growth in spring. Also, fall brings a lot more rainfall than in the summer, and so that consistent rainfall is going to really help build those roots as well and keep those plants thriving and happy until it's time to go dormant. Not to mention, the pests and the weeds are slowing down as well, which is going to mean it's going to be a lot easier for your plant to establish itself because there's less competition. Think about it this way. If you plant now, your food forest is already one season ahead of what it would have been if you planted in spring. Okay, so you know that you need to plant now, right? What do you plant? Well, first of all, fruit trees. Fall is the prime time for planting fruit trees. It's the time that every arborist says is the best time to plant a fruit tree in order to give it its best chances at success. So that means apples and pears, chestnuts, peaches, nectarines, and plums. Things like medlar, which is going to never have pests bothering it. Plant your hazelnuts and your blueberries. Those shrubs are going to do really well right now. So currants, gooseberries, and then also think about things like asparagus crowns, garlic, tulips. Tulips are a perfect thing to go into your food forest guilds, and they keep away the rodents. Also, this is a great time to transplant any rootstock of comfrey that you might want to put at the base of your plants, and I would highly suggest that you use comfrey. Elderberries and raspberries, they're doing so well if you plant right now. That includes blackberries and loganberries and wineberries. You cannot go wrong. But it's not just the big shrubs and the plants that can do well. Also think about other perennials, things like oregano and thyme and rhubarb. Those are going to grow really well now if you plant them, and then spring comes along, they're going to be miles ahead of anything that you could have planted then. And don't forget the support species as well, so things like clover and vetch, or even shrubs like Siberian pea shrub. These will boost your soil health and support your fruit trees and shrubs long term. And of course, like I've already mentioned, garlic and onions too, right? Those are going to keep the pests away. Also, as you're putting in your shrubs and your ground layers and your perennials, now is a great time to scatter seeds. What I really like to do is I go and I get butterfly mixes, pollinator mixes from places like Tractor Supply or my local nursery. And they have big bags that you can just spread around. And usually those bags of seeds do a lot better if you plant the seeds and scatter them in the fall. And those plants will then get established over the winter, through the rains of fall, and in the spring they will pop up like crazy. And they'll fill in those bare areas that haven't filled out yet because most of your plants are new. And a lot of those seeds will start plants that will carry through for years to come. I did that when I first started my food forest, and I have bee balm that is still coming up from when I first did those seeds. I still have poppies that are popping up from here and there from those seeds that I planted 6 years ago. And it's not a lot of work. All you do is take the bag and you just toss and scatter the seeds wherever you will. Also, now is a good time if you want to specifically plant something, put those lupine seeds in the ground now. Next year, spring will thank you. In just a second, I'm going to show you the biggest mistakes I see people making when they plant in the fall. So if you're planting in the fall, the biggest thing that you're working on right now is developing those root systems and getting them really set and ready to go so that as soon as the spring weather comes along, they're already ahead of the race. So something that you can do is really, really deeply water your plants when you put them in the ground right now. Deeply water. So I'm talking like let a hose just kind of sit there on them for a little while and get them good and wet. A huge mistake people make is not watering enough when they first establish their plants. Another thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to mulch deeply. So they're still going to be a little bit tender, right? So get some good mulch and spread it on top around the base of them so that they can have a really nice cozy blanket to keep them warm over the winter and keep all that moisture in while they're still establishing their roots this fall. And remember your spacing. So if you have a blueberry bush that's going to get to be 3 to 6 feet wide, don't plant it right next to a currant bush that's going to get 2 to 3 feet wide as well, and only leave about 6 inches in between. They may be small now, but they will not be when they are fully mature. And since you're planting in the fall, they will have a mighty growth season next year, which is going to make them expand a lot faster than you think. So plan ahead. What is the spacing that you're going to need for each plant? Because each plant is going to be different. And don't forget your layers. You can plant the kiwi right now and put that right near a trellis that it can grow up, that eventually maybe it could stretch out onto a tree. And then plant a Rosa rugosa right next to it. And then underneath that, put some creeping thyme or something along those lines. And you'll be able to get a lot more food a lot faster if you plant all the layers now. Now, this is my biggest tip and something that I struggle with a lot, and I wish that I had been really good at this from the beginning, but label your plants. And if you can't label your plants and the labels wash off or they get tossed away somewhere or they fall off, also make a map of where you plant everything in your garden, because it could be 2 to 3 years before some of your plants take off. So it's really handy to know which varieties of blueberries you have and where you planted them. It's really nice to know what varieties of apples you have, or peaches or plums, because you're going to need to know that as you add to your food forest. And if you're like me, you're going to continue to add every single year. So you want to know, do you have the proper fruit tree to pollinate the fruit tree that you want to buy? Or do you need to buy 2 now because it needs a pollinator? But if you already have several fruit trees in your garden that can pollinate this one tree that you want, save yourself the hassle and you don't have to buy 2. And I promise you, no matter how much you tell yourself that you will, this is a lie that all gardeners tell themselves. We'll remember what we planted. We'll know exactly what this is next year. Or of course I won't forget what this is. It's my favorite. I'm telling you, it's a lie. I'm telling my future self right now, if I watch this video again, this is a lie. You will not remember. Mark it down. So here's the mistakes. Letting the roots too close to the surface. If you're going to plant these plants, make sure those roots are deep, well watered and mulched. If they're too close to the surface, the frost will get them, the snow will get them, and they will die. So make sure that you plant them deeply enough. Another thing that you need to worry about is bare soil. It may look nice right now, but in the spring, it's going to weed up. So make sure you put that mulch down wherever you're not planting your plants and around the base of your plants, so that you can keep the weeds at a minimum now all the way until spring. And I've got to say, I'm a big proponent of not always going by what they say on the tags. I like to crowd things in, because the more you crowd them in, the less room there is for weeds. But within reason, okay? Control yourself. I have made this mistake many times. Don't just think, oh, it'll be fine. Begin with the end in mind. Okay, so if you want to have an incredibly lush food forest by spring, plant now. Now is the time. Don't hesitate. Don't wait. If you go online, you will find all sorts of deals and sellers selling their fruit trees right now, selling their berry bushes. Some of my favorite places to go are Stark Brothers. They have a 100% guarantee on their plants, which means if something happens over the winter and it dies, it's okay. They will send you a replacement. Also, I love One Green World because they have a plethora of food forest plants that are just perfect for all the layers. And there's plenty of other places that I like to get things from, but I'll have to list them in the comments below. So if you've been on the fence or you've been waiting, don't. Fall is the perfect time to plant. By next summer, you'll already be harvesting from plants that are stronger and healthier and more established than you would have had if you had waited until spring. Members, I have a full-length, fully expanded checklist for you on what to do if you want to start your food forest this fall. If you want to plant it now, go to my community page and I'll have a post there with a picture of this video, and I'll have a link on there for a free download for you because you're a member that will have everything that you could possibly need in order to get started the right way without making mistakes, and all the benefits of the knowledge that I've built up from the past 6 years of doing this. And then also, if you aren't a member, I have a free download for you. It's not as extensive, but it's still got some really good stuff in there, and it will help you get that food forest started right away. You can see that link right here below in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I do my best to give you good content that can be beneficial and bring value to your lives. So give me that like, put a comment down below. That helps the algorithm so much get this video out to more people. And tell me, what is your favorite food forest plant? Thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Stay blessed.